What's up guys, Arthur Wu here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Flycam Nano DSLR stabilizer. And this is a really awesome tool, and the reason why I'm reviewing it is because it is a low budget solution, and when I first started out it helped me out a lot, and so hopefully this review will help other people who are just getting started with video who need a low budget solution. So this thing will run you about 150 to 200 bucks depending on where you get it. And it's nice for the price. It's nice for what it is. Let's just get into the review. Talk about the pros. First of all, the pros. The biggest pro is that it is very cheap. As I said, it's relatively cheap. It's around $200. Now, for those of you who have done reviews on the stabilizing units, you'll see the glide cams maybe are twice the price, and the Merlins, the steady cams, are about $800, so about 4 times the price. And then you get into the higher units of stabilizers, which can get up into the $2,000 to $3,000 ranges with the vests and the little monitors that you can use while you're moving it around. But if you're just getting started, you want something nice to stabilize your cameras and your shots with, this is a very good tool. And I do have some shots at the very end of this video that you can jump to if you want to see what those look like, with some commentary over there about what the shots are actually doing. So with that said, very cheap, very nice tool. You can get very smooth shots on these. I've seen shots that are pretty much rival the GlideCam and the Merlin Steadicam units. But that's if you've been practicing for a while and you know how to operate the unit. So it does take several hours of practice, I would say, maybe several weeks of on and on practice. But you can get some very similar shots with this stabilization unit as you can with the GlideCam and the more expensive Merlin Steadicam. So what are the differences really? Well, it is a very cheap build. Some of these pieces started coming loose, and I constantly have to tighten them up over time. With the other tools, you're not going to get that as much or at all. So just keep that in mind. Build quality is not the greatest. It becomes easily unbalanced, so I can shoot with this one day and come back to the next day with the exact same settings, exact camera and everything, and it'll be thrown off for whatever reason, and I have to make the adjustments. So don't really like that. It just takes a little bit more time, but I mean, for the price, it's just the price you have to pay for having a little bit of a cheaper unit. And the last thing I've heard is the quality control. Luckily, I've gotten one that's been fairly held up pretty well. I've had it for about 6 months. Some people have problems with the gimbal. They've had to either send it back in or basically tighten and adjust it on their own. That's not something I really like doing, tweaking tools once I get them. I just want to know that it's going to work. And probably the most annoying thing that I've discovered is the strain it puts on your wrist over a short period of time. So if you can see here, if I can get this on the monitor right, the handle here is kind of off to the side, and you see that my wrist is not the most natural angle, and so over time you'll start to notice that if you have a 3 to 5 pound camera up here with the accessories, your wrist is going to start kind of going down like that, and you're going to put more and more pressure on this point right here. I don't like that at all. I mean, I work at a desk all day long, doing computer stuff, and then I'm out shooting and things like that, and so my wrists get a lot of strain, and a couple years ago I was at a point where my wrists were starting to get kind of carpal tunnel-y. So if you do have those problems, this is probably not the best solution for you. And I actually ordered the Steadicam Merlin because the handle is right underneath, which kind of takes some of the pressure off of the wrist. So we'll see how that works. I haven't really tested that out yet. So people are going to ask, how do you get this thing balanced? Well, M over at cheesycam.com, he does a great tutorial on that. When I first bought this thing, it was I had the hardest time balancing it. But after watching his tutorial, I figured it out, spent a few hours tweaking it, running around with it, practicing with it, and it worked right after that. So that link's going to be posted right below. And other reviews are from the F-Stoppers, as well as another review on cheesycam.com. So check those guys out if you want to learn more about the Flycam DSLR. And yeah, that's it. I guess one tip that I have for you guys who are wondering about what my settings are on this thing, I'm only using 2 weights on each side. So the 2 little white weights that come on this on each side, and one of the weight holders. I had this maybe about an inch off of the bottom right here, and then on the top I have a Manfrotto RC4 plate, And I found that this is probably the best plate if you need to move quickly from unit to unit. So if you're doing a shoot and you need to jump from your tripod to maybe a shoulder rig to this thing, this is really fast and saves you a lot of time, especially if you're under time pressure to get something done. The other quick release plates that slide forward and backward that have the little turning knob, it can get caught on this thing and then you have to pull them out, unscrew it, pull it out, unscrew it again, and it's just a royal pain. So if you're looking to save a lot of time, Manfrotto RC4 is probably the best quick release unit out there. So links for all that stuff will be below, but let's go ahead and take a look at some of the footage. Alright, here we are using the Flycam DSLR. I'm following V down the street here, and I'm not really thinking about composition. I'm just trying to get a steady shot. For the most part, it is doing a pretty good job here, and I think someone's coming along the street here, so we're going to turn a little bit. Still working on my turns, a little wobbly there, but for the most part you can see it's fairly steady. We're just following her along the path here, so it's fairly steady. It shows how the Flycam performs. Alright guys, there was the test footage. Hopefully you got some use out of that. If you have any questions, feel free to post them down below and I'll be happy to answer them.